Welcome to The Wrecking Trade, the radio show that provides a platform for a deeper understanding of issues affecting men in the Cayman Islands. Join us as we explore the low enrollment of men and boys in college classrooms, the absence of men in the church, and the absence of fathers in the home. Join the conversation as we help men find their place in the modern world. Through engaging interviews with experts and members of the community, we provide a clear picture of what healthy masculinity looks like as an example for boys and girls. Our mission is to provide a voice for men, to help them navigate the challenges that they face and provide hope for a brighter future. So tune in and join the conversation on The Wrecking Trade. Together, we can make a difference in the lives of men and boys in the Cayman Islands. And that we are doing. Welcome to The Wrecking Trade. I'm your host, Robert Lynch, where we take a deep dive into the world of masculinity, male accountability, and responsibility. But before we jump into today's show, do me a solid, hit that like button and hit the subscribe button. It's not just a thumbs up. This is how we tell YouTube that the things that we talk about here matters. And tonight, what we are talking about really matters. And today we have a really special show. Thank you to our PA, Janine, who put together something wonderful for us. We're just going to have a wonderful conversation with our guests. And before I introduce you to them, I want to share something with you. I came across some news today, and it made me continue to think and reinforce why we do the things that we do here. A couple of months ago we talked about the idea of the Miss Universe competition having actually two transgender members joining in the team. Be sure to comment, be sure to give us your feedback, what you think about transgender women, transgender men, transgender persons joining in women activities. How do you feel about that? And today I came across a piece of news. Kim Kardashian has been voted by GQ, one of GQ's cover, as GQ Man of the Year. GQ Man of the Year, Kim Kardashian. And here we keep getting into these interesting conversations, and the end result, in my view, is confusion for our children. But there are two people who are trying to undo that confusion in their own way and trying to work through some of the challenges. I'm going to let them introduce themselves as we jump to first the lady.
Okay, good evening, everyone. My name is Michelle Dennis Powell. I'm a mother of 3 lovely children, 2 biological and 1 stepson. And this is my lovely husband, Clayton Paul. I've been a teacher for over 25 years. I've worked in the area of counseling, art, literature, literacy. And I'm very passionate about people. I love people and I love teaching. And right now, I'm simply homeschooling my children. So I consider myself blessed. I consider myself lucky to be able to have such a wonderful opportunity to take care of my family.
And I love the way you phrased it, and that's one of the things that we're going to be talking about tonight. But before we transition into on you, sir, there are a couple of things I wanted you to complete. We've talked about your name. We've talked about your age. Your age?
Yes. I'm 50 plus. I'm just 40. Soon 50. 40. Soon going
something. 40 something, going on 50.
Going on
not
50,
quite 50
yes.
yet.
Not
Right?
quite 50
At
yet.
highest education level
I
completed.
have a master's degree in workforce education and development.
Yes, and I wanted to drive that home because you've chosen to do something. You said you are simply homeschooling your children, but that I
Yes, and
imagine
I think
was
it's a wonderful opportunity to do so. I think it's the best. I think it's more valuable than my master's degree.
Wow.
Can I tell you?
Wow. Your husband must be beaming beside you, so let me lean over to him. Go ahead and introduce yourself, sir.
My name is Clayton Paul. I also enjoy the fact that Michelle is able to homeschool our children because we're actually seeing the benefits of homeschooling them. But not only that, we're able to direct them and teach them right from wrong from a male-female perspective. The world is, as you said earlier, is turning upside down. So we have to be that vessel for them, so they can know who they are, why they are, and how they are.
Awesome. So you get to homeschool the children, Michelle.
Yes,
that
I
means you are the full breadwinner.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
And we may have 3 women or so sitting in the audience saying, why are you such a misogynist? Why have you taken this woman out of the wonderful work world where she can be independent and chose to stuck her at home with the children? Of course, we're not siding with them at all. We're anti that, but feel free to speak
I
to
can
it.
answer that question. I think it was a discussion that was had over a long period of time.
Yes.
It was, are we going to manage financially? It was, is it the right thing we're doing? But when we weigh the pros and cons, it was best for us to sacrifice now so we don't have to sacrifice later as it relates to the children.
Interesting. Awesome. And that is also set against the backdrop of we see the interest rates, we talk about inflation going on out on the street and the cost of living, and here you are living in the Cayman Islands, but somehow you've been able to make it work.
It boils down to what you want at the end of the day. To be honest, initially when the idea came up about, I'm going to stop working, I worried. I was like, oh, I'm going to pay the mortgage. And, you know, and like I said, it was a long discussion. And it came to the point where I said, okay, you know, Michelle sort of showed me the benefits. Because I did see some benefits, but she showed me the additional benefits of doing it this way. And if I'm being honest, since Michelle has stopped working, we've been so blessed and fortunate that we have done so much more with one salary than we did.
Believe it or not. Believe it or not.
I'm telling you, we've accomplished a lot more on one salary than we did on 2 salary. And you know, I also have a small business that kind of helps to, you know, to add to the income. You know, so
I'm getting modesty from both of you. You said you get the opportunity to take care of your children. You spoke to have a small business to help the bank manage. But I'm thinking, as I'm listening to you, and listening to what you just said from the perspective of her taking herself out of the work world has boosted your financial situation, even though you've dropped down to 1 salary. What do you... and if you don't mind, I'd love to ask you, Michelle, how do you think you've contributed to boosting your husband in that way?
Geez, how should I answer this now? I think first of all, as women, we have to understand what we have first and foremost, what we're willing to sacrifice secondly, and thirdly, whose we are. Because I have to say to myself, if I know the Lord is keeping me, you know that song? If you know the Lord is keeping you, what you gonna worry about? If you know the Lord is keeping you. And there are times that we might, I'm a Christian as well. I've been a Christian for over 25 years or more. And I realized something pivotal. Even when I left my job, my husband didn't own this business. Can I tell you? But because I was willing to sacrifice, some people use the word submission, if it's a bad, dirty word, but it's not a bad, dirty word. It's a beautiful word.
Wow.
It's a lovely word.
Say it again.
Submission. It's not a bad, dirty word. It's a beautiful word. And we can look at it. Is it okay for me to just look at the word submission? Because, you know, first of all, when I told my husband, like he rightly said, he was a little bit afraid. It was a little bit stressing for him at first. And then we decided, listen, we're going to come together. We're going to put our minds together. We're going to decide and say, okay, how are we going to do this moving forward? And of course, honestly, even though I made a decision, I was stressed. I was saying, oh my God, what am I doing? I didn't know where to turn. But at the end of the day, I said, okay, God, because I believe that God called me to this too. Because let me just go back and look at the word submission.
Yes.
When we think of the word submission, ladies and gentlemen, it's not a bad, dirty word, as I said before. It's a word that means we're submitting to a particular mission.
Yes.
The mission at the time was that something was wrong with my son at the time, and everything was just going wrong. And I said, boy, you know, Clayton, my husband, that's his name, Clayton. I said, Clayton, you know, but I don't know we're going to do that. And Clayton said, okay, whatever you do, I'll support you. My husband was willing to submit to the mission. If I'm going to stay home with the family, okay, we have to do things differently.
Wow, say that again.
My husband was willing to submit to the mission. I have to be willing to submit to his mission. And if we're willing to submit to each other's mission, how do I bring my mission to the table? I first have to say, okay, Clayton, this is what we're going to do. What do you think? Okay, Michelle, I don't like this part of it. Fix this. Put this over there. And I don't necessarily always agree, but I have to also listen. Because how can I submit to a mission if I don't know the mission? So the mission was for me to stay home at the time and help the family. And yes, being a Caribbean woman and a Caribbean mother too, I must confess, I'm saying, Lord God, I forgot everything I couldn't say, Lord, I forgot follow him. But that's not the case. As women too, we are cultured to not listen to our spouses somewhat. Like
No, you don't have to qualify
if your husband,
for some
if your husband
reason.
saying that no, because you're qualified, you have your master's degree, you don't have to submit to that.
Yes.
But we're submitting to who? To the mission under God. So if God says, okay, it's time for you now to stay, because I've been a teacher for over 25 years, I've helped everybody else, and God is saying, okay, step back, and now bring it home. And everybody used to say, oh, Michelle, I don't think this. And like I said, I don't think everybody can homeschool. I'm not knocking anybody, because I'm a people person. I love people. But I'm saying you just it's a way, not the only way to do things. But that was one of the decisions that we've made as a family. And I see where my relationship has improved tremendously.
Wow.
My relationship with my children, my relationship with others, my relationship with just even my community, because I'm not rushing to go to work. I'm not, get up in the morning, everybody rushing to go. I don't even spend a lot of time with my husband, because I'm now at home doing my due diligence. And I know some people don't like that word, but I think I'm at a better place as a woman. I'm more softer, I'm more gentler, I'm more still. Sometimes we say be still in the presence of God. We don't know how to be still as women, because we're always doing this. Oh, the man don't have to know my money, he don't have to know this, he don't have to know that. But listen, when my husband and I decided to come together, we are richer. We even traveled. I've never traveled to Europe and all those places. We traveled to.
But know that you're on one salary.
But now that I'm on one salary, ladies and gentlemen, I can do all these things that I couldn't. No, when you think about it, I have to keep saying, if you know the Lord is keeping you, what you gonna worry about? If
But
you know the Lord is keeping you.
You had to make a choice.
Yes.
Because we do have many women in our church. And I want to come to you, Clayton, because we have many women in our church, and they're thinking through it, and they're saying, I want to submit, but the man is this, and the man is that, and the man is that, and we're saying all of these things. But you, despite all that, said, you know what? You knew what you're earning with 2 salaries. You knew what you're able to do with 2 salaries.
Yes.
And you're saying, hey, there's a bigger mission here. Guess what, husband? I know what my part of the mission is. I need to make sure the house is in order.
Yes.
You need to go and figure out the rest. And you, sir, rose to the challenge. Talk to me about that process.
Tremendously.
Well, I think for me,
like a boss. Sorry.
when
I love it. What did you say, like a what?
Like a boss.
There we go.
So when Michelle and I agreed that she's going to homeschool the kids, yes, I did have these concerns, financial concerns. How am I going to pay the mortgage? How am I going to do this? And I said to her, okay, I'm going to trust you. I'm going to move in the direction that you want us to go into. To be honest, I was not 100% sure it's going to work, but I said, you know what, I'm going to work with you and see how it works out. But I think as a result of me submitting, it has actually catapulted me into other areas. So, for example, we ended up creating a rental property, getting a rental property, and we, pursued my business. I have talked about starting a business years before with her, and this kind of pushed me to say, okay, if I bring in an extra $10, then that's $10 more that we can supplement the incomes. It also pushed Michelle to start her own business, to focus on her artwork.
Okay.
So, she has a business, she has an art business as well. And she does murals as well. So it actually allows us to do what we want to do, but still stay within the mission. You know what I'm saying?
So I'm hearing you say, there are a couple of things that's happening. I'm hearing you say you're managing the finances, you're handling them, you're growing. So as she has trusted you, as she had leaned over, submitted to you, and trust you, it gives you that, like to call it, that power up.
Yes.
And it's a refreshing feeling.
It
oh my God.
It gives me an opportunity to look at, okay, I'm working for the man, but the man has his mission.
Yes.
If I work for myself, I can create a legacy.
Yes.
I could extend the mission. You get what I'm saying? So that's sort of how I viewed it.
So now you could clearly connect it to the mission of the
initial mission.
The initial mission of the household, the family. And so here, let me take a moment to just say, for the men who are watching, this is a part of what we're talking about in terms of recognizing what your mission is and how we connect to that, and how the woman, that femininity, leans into that. Many times we find ourselves competing in our relationship, so we might be making more money, but if our energies are spent off mission, then we're wasting a lot of energy. But when you two are able to be on the same mission, you take your responsibility, I take mine, and we just run together as a perfectly well-oiled machine.
And I don't want to paint a picture like
Everything is perfect.
No, but we're going to get to that. We're going to get to that, because we understand that relationships require work. And so we're talking about the mission here, which is the major mission, and then we can talk a little bit more about how you navigate some of the relationship dynamics and how this choice has affected that, impacted that, and then how you maneuver it.
Okay.
Because I mentioned that we talked about masculinity, male accountability, and responsibility, and how you connect
and
to
how
that.
femininity plays a role in masculinity.
There we go.
Because, for example, if my husband takes home a chicken and he says, Michelle, this is what we're going to cook today, I might not feel like I want to have chicken, but I say, okay, baby, we're going to do chicken today, then I'm going to cut it up and do fettuccine tomorrow. So as women too, it has taught me how to be creative. Because, I'm not depending on this dollar so much. And like I say, I'm a people lover, so I'm not bashing anyone, but I'm just showing you that having $1 billion is not happiness. Working together, submitting to each other, one to another, working together. And yes, Clayton might not always agree with some of my decisions. I might not always agree with his decision, but how can I come under his decision and understand that, okay, God, you have a plan, you have a purpose. And there are times, even when the budget might be tight, how do we groom the children to understand, okay, you don't want chicken, but chicken is what we're having today. So how can we turn the chicken into something else? So today I do fried chicken, tomorrow I do fettuccine, another day I do baked chicken, and we don't have to eat every single thing that I want this, I want that. It's even our children, they're learning how to, what's the word, Clayton?
Even they're learning to work with what they have.
Yes.
So even like with the finances, I'll give you an example. Over the summer we went on vacation, and my youngest son, he had some, what do you call those shoes? Crocs. So he was fine when we were there, and he came back and the Crocs got damaged maybe 2 weeks after. So I said, I'm going to take you to buy some Crocs. I took him to the store, and I said, what's the price of the Crocs? The guy said it was $50-something. And my son was like, Dad, no, I don't want it. I said, why? He said, it's too much. He said, I will wait till next time to get it, or we'll get it when we go back to the States. So even having that conversation, even with my daughter, if I am going to purchase, say if I go to the cinema with the family and I'm going to get stuff, she's like, Dad, it's too expensive. So we're also teaching them money management, to be responsible, so they know sometimes that we can afford it, but they just said, you know what, we'll pass.
And we also have the opportunity to teach them how do I live in a society that tells me that this is true. No, we have to teach them how to be godly woman. So it's not just your physical appearance, it's your whole aura as a woman. So I have that opportunity to teach my children these things. It's a wonderful opportunity.
Wow.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yes.
Even my daughter, when I said, okay, look at you, Michaela. Oh, mommy, my hair. I said, you're beautiful. You're wonderfully made. And our children are extremely confident. And because I'm teaching them every opportunity that we see out there in terms of competition, even people keep saying, but your children always win in all of these competitions, leave it for somebody else. So just be able to just teach my children to be there, to be there for them. It is so powerful. It is so wonderful. And sorry,
if I may piggyback on what Michelle is saying, I think one of the things I appreciate about the opportunity that we have been given with the children is exposure. Exposure is a huge thing. They've been to, I don't want to sound like I'm bragging,
Bragman,
but they have been to Paris,
Brag.
Rome, France, Italy, Spain. They've been pretty much,
and this is
on one salary. And
this
when we
is
had the
that's
two
what I want to
salary,
say.
we didn't have any time to
This
do
is
anything.
set against the backdrop of two salaries not going anywhere. One
Nowhere.
salary, we touring Europe.
Yes.
But they get to also see how other cultures.
Yes.
So when they get older, they won't be, oh, you're from the Caribbean, you're just a little dark child from the Caribbean. They'll be like, no, I might be from the Caribbean, but I'm learned. You know what I'm saying? I've traveled. I know what this represents.
Yes.
I know what. So I think having
You're
an
giving them
opportunity
that
to
kind of
homeschool them,
exposure.
they get exposure. No, like I said before, and like you said, we'll get into it. But it's not easy. It's not always easy. But God has given us the opportunity to present this opportunity for them.
And you're seeing the fruits
Fruits of the labor,
of
yes.
that choice.
Yes.
You're seeing, and you can connect with the fruits that you want, and you say, these are nice fruits. I'm enjoying these fruits.
My son is 11. My youngest is 11. My daughter is 13, and they're presently studying to do CXC next year.
Wow.
So that alone shows me that we're getting results.
And that's interesting because, and I keep going back to the idea of you having two
And
salaries.
And just talk about my stepson too.
Yes.
While I was at home, he was a head boy at Clifton on top. He
Head
passed all his
sportsman.
CXC, head sport. And I was just there to listen.
Yes.
'Cause, you know, as mothers, we don't get the opportunity to hear our children because we're busy doing that, busy doing this.
And you're tired when you get home
Yeah, and when I
after.
get home, I just have to cook or we have to clean, and we don't get a chance to really hear our children, to
Yes.
listen to their hearts. And I just think this gave me an opportunity where I was so still. You know, the Bible said, be still and know that I am God. I was at that place where I was still. I could hear them. I could hear what my husband was saying. I could hear what my children saying. And therefore, I was more connected to them. And all my life, I was saying, no, I'm a good teacher, I'm a good mother. But just being able to be still and hear my family. I think you should try it, ladies and gentlemen. If you're listening, try it.
They gave you a different orientation. There you were,
Yeah.
master's degree, you're in the
Yeah.
classroom, you're having all these accolades, you're doing all of these things out in the world and getting all of this recognition from the world. But here's the thing. We're having silence in our homes. By being still and stepping back into the home, you're able to not just be still, but give your children some kind of light that I'm hearing, that at 11 years old they're going for CXCs, they're accomplishing all of these things.
Yes, because I was just at home. And we started in 2019 actually. And
No,
persons,
it was before that.
no, we started in 2019.
The
And when-
pandemic was 2019.
The pandemic was
2020.
2020.
Oh, okay.
So I left my job
It
in
feels,
20.
it feels like it's been here
Yeah,
with us
I left
for
my
a
job
very
in
long time.
2019. And understandable, some friends say, boy, Michelle, I don't think you made the right decision. And I say, I think this is what God is calling me to do. And like
Any
I
of
said,
them said that to you recently when you showed them your pictures of Paris? Sorry, keep going.
no, I don't show the pictures. I don't, because I'm not a social media person, so I
Gotcha.
hardly do that. But I just want to say, guys, this is not to let parents out there who can't homeschool their children feel bad, but it's just for you to know that there is if you have to make that decision, there is hope. So I'm here at a place of hope. I'm at a place where I'm saying, if God call you to a place, don't be afraid to step out. Just talk to somebody who have done it before, but don't say, okay, I can't do it because my situation is different. Just test God and see. Just try him and see.
But even if you don't get the
Go
opportunity
ahead.
to homeschool your child, I think one of the missing link is, as parents, we're not giving them that extra 10 minutes.
Yes.
We're not having that conversation. We're not, how is your day going? Like my son, I can't, over the last several years, I can't recall, even if I'm overseas, I cannot recall a day goes by and he doesn't say I love you. And he doesn't, if I'm out at work or I'm on the road, he calls to say good night and I love you.
Well done.
So that conversation, you build a bond with your kids.
Nice.
And you'd be surprised how far reaching that bond can take you.
And I'm glad you took it there because, Michelle, you said, yes, if you can't homeschool your children. And while you've had this advantage, you're a teacher, you've done all these things, this is great. But there are many homeschooling educational packages out there that even if you don't have a master's degree, you don't have a
Yes,
bachelor's
you
degree,
can.
you've never even read a book,
Yes.
you can connect with the children and
Yes.
provide that educational
Opportunity
material
for
for them. But what you also said was the ability to be still and be present
With them, yes.
with them. So they're learning the maths, they're learning the English, they're doing all of
Yes,
these things,
yes.
but your presence being with them to have that conversation. Mommy, I'm going through some things at school,
Yeah.
separate and apart from the math and English, that allows them
And
to
just
know.
character building. Know who you are as a woman, Michaela. You're 13
Yes.
years old, but know who you are. It's the content of your character
Yes.
that counts. Because I see a lot of people have master's degree and they don't have no character.
Well.
So at the end of the day, I am able to instill that value in my child. You know what I mean?
But I think also once our children know what our expectations are, it's harder for them to go outside of that.
Mm-hmm.
So we set boundaries,
Well said.
and they know, okay, even if mom or dad is not in the present, I know that this would not be acceptable in their eyes. So whilst kids will be kids,
Mm-hmm.
they still have some, if they're going to do something wrong, they'll think about it. And more than likely they won't do it.
But for you, they'll think about it because you've spent the time investing in them, thinking
Yes.
about it. One of the things that I think that we've lost in our society is with mothers being outside of the home, both parents being outside of the home working,
And the community is not there anymore.
the community is not there working. Who is responsible for transmitting the family values
Into-
that will be the operating system for the children when they're outside of your presence?
It's a parent's responsibility, at the end of the day. However, in the society that we live in now, and the Bible speaks about this, children are having children.
Yes.
So if that child was never taught, how can he or she teaches?
Right? And be- that's such a huge problem because again, many of us grew up on what we learned from social media. So even as it comes to relationships, many of us go, hey, no man, TV tells me that mommy and daddy needs to go out and work. So for many women out there, they're thinking, I have to work, I have to do this, I have to carry the two salaries because what? I need to do my part. Because the world is telling him that that part that they need to do is half of the mortgage, half of the light bill, half of this and half of that. But what we need is half of the family mission. Because I often say that I can never carry a child. Never ever. So that mission, that part of the mission was given to you.
Yes.
Yeah, a mother can't be a mother.
A mother cannot be a father.
And a father can't be a
cannot
mother.
But
No matter how many times
also-
they write it in a book,
but
it's not a reality.
in our situation, when
Yes.
you look at Michelle, for example, she's not very, she doesn't necessarily she don't wear jewelry except her wedding ring. She's not, she like bags and she like a nice gown because we go out every year. So it's all, but she's not one of those persons. Oh, I need to get my hair done. I have to do my nails. I have to. So she's very understanding of the situation.
Of
And
the
she
mission.
and she apply accordingly. Right?
Can I qualify that for you?
Sure.
Because
Yeah.
sometimes, and again, part of this message is she understands the mission, and I hear you downplaying the idea that we're doing these things because it's the money, but it's not the money. It's the family values. You guys have a set of values.
Yes.
Right.
That
right,
even if you
yeah.
had more money,
Mhm.
you still wouldn't need to do
Yes.
that kind of
True,
stuff,
true.
right?
True.
And so again, we keep thinking that we need to keep up with the Joneses and we need to keep up with we need to be doing many of these things when even so for some mothers they still think that they need to be competing with their daughters in the marketplace,
True.
wearing the
True.
sexiest things and doing all of those other things, when instead you should be transmitting the values so the next generation has better opportunities than we had to begin with. And you've seen that in that I keep hearing you saying it, going back, what's your daughter's name again?
Michaela.
Michaela, keep saying, reminding her how
Yeah,
awesome
who
and
you
wonderful
are as a
she is
woman,
made.
yes.
We don't. So I don't need to compete with you. My job now is to pour into you,
To you, yes.
and you can do that because you don't have to worry about the bills and the mortgage and all those other things. That's his job. Let him worry about that. You will make that money so the family can
So when
be
he
well.
takes it home, so he buys a house and make it a home
There we
type
go.
of thing.
There we go. Buy the house, make it a home.
Yeah.
We go down to one salary, but for some magical reason, we now gone over to Europe and Paris and all these other places.
Some magical reasons.
Right? we call it magic because the world
Yeah.
won't understand it, and there's some
Yeah.
people. Someone is thinking about it. Okay, Michelle, I hear what you're saying. Clayton, I hear what you're saying, but more interest rates gone up. I don't think we can afford it.
Well, surprisingly, speaking about interest rates. So when we did our mortgage,
Yes.
we had a clause. Won't get into too much details, but we are not seeing the effects of the interest inflation because of that clause in our mortgage. So and that's a blessing because we didn't foresee this, but God did. You know what I mean? And even the things we do now, the traveling, just I'm in awe every time something happens and we just find what we need
Yes.
to get to where we need to be. So yes, you're right. It's not about the money. It's about the communication. It's about the mission.
And how willing you are to submit to the mission.
And as I'm hearing you submitting to your part of the mission, as I hear you being submitting to your part of the mission, what I'm also hearing both of you unearthing is there's so many additional benefits that you didn't even account for in the
Yes,
beginning
yes.
that are just presenting
In
themselves.
itself.
You didn't know that interest rates were going to go from 0 to 8%, but for some reason your mortgage was locked in.
Yes.
And so it doesn't
didn't
affect
know.
It
you,
does not affect us
right?
at the moment.
And to the point, when I left my job in 2019, I didn't foresee 2020 COVID where everybody had to be home with their children.
Yes.
And
Do you
that
get
was
what
a
I'm saying?
struggle.
And that was a struggle for many. But at the time I
You were
started,
already
yes,
there.
I had to be
Yes,
there
you was
helping my
already
friends say,
there.
okay, don't worry, man, you got this.
So our house is almost like
Yeah, everybody bring their
babysitting
children
center.
there.
Wow.
so on the average week we might have 6 or 7 kids that pass.
And I love it. I don't mind it
And,
at all.
so what I do with my children, I allow them to allow friends to come over.
Yeah.
They don't watch TV during the week.
Wow.
They don't own a game station, a gaming board. I don't allow them to play games. And when they're home, it's limited. So they'll go on the computer and maybe play, what's our game called? Something like
Roblox.
with their friends. But even that, it's limited. So we don't, I don't expose them to the worldly things.
Values again.
Because I have a degree in counseling,
Uh-huh.
right? I have a counseling background, drug and alcohol counseling, but I do couples counseling. I do pro bono, of course.
Got you.
And I have dealt with clients, children, who were fixated on video games, and it spiraled out of control and affected many areas of that individual life. So I learned from these things, and my son is very easily addicted. So
He loves it.
he'll play the
Dearly.
video game, and then you can actually look at his face and see that okay, he's wired. So I am protecting him
Yes.
by keeping them away from these things. So there's a lot of work that goes into what we're doing, but the reward outweighs the work that we're putting in.
And some days I feel like giving up, but I have to just keep and say, okay, this is the mission. This is the mission. You have to keep the mission in mind every time, because sometimes it gets difficult. Because my son is very strong-willed, and my daughter is also strong-willed. So teaching two strong-willed children, and they don't treat it the same like they treat their teachers. Okay, I'm mommy and I'm also a teacher, so it's very difficult. But I just want to also add that one thing I must say I appreciate about my husband. People drop off their children and I love it. And they'll make a lot of noise, and my husband never complained. I was say, okay, when it gets too much, he said, Michelle, I'll soon come back. And just the thought of leaving the children with me, I'm also pouring into, because God has given me this opportunity I have to share with other people. Yes. Okay, you don't have anywhere to keep, just bring the children, come. Even sometimes Michelle said, but Michelle, you just keep, I said, just bring them come. Even if they're shouting, they're screaming, once they're not getting hurt, I'm fine. So even with the blessing, I have to learn to be a blessing to others. It's very important that we give back to the community, because like I said before, some parents have to go to work. I'm homeschooling my children. Listen, holiday, you don't have anywhere to just bring them come. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
So I'm hearing you talking, and I'm listening to you saying, one, this household where the salary was cut in half, this is where the people are coming, right? This place where, mommy is not out there working and doing all these things. This is where the children are coming and having these values being transmitted in them. This is where the children are traveling Europe. This is where the children are getting on honor roll and doing these things and hitting CXCs at year 11. And then persons are saying, like you said, some persons were saying, Michelle, you're making the wrong choice. You're making this poor decision. But here, in your poor decision, you are now becoming a light in your community, where others are sending their children to you. Where the children, because it's one thing to send your children to a place, it's another thing for children to be drawn to your place, to want to feel that warmth that clearly you've created, where they want to
enjoy,
be.
they enjoy,
where they want to be in your presence, right? So this helps us to transition. We've talked about the finances. We've talked about the other things that you've been able to accomplish. Let's get to the man and woman story now. How has it worked out? How's it going? Let's start here. How would you define a healthy relationship? And we're not talking about family. We're not talking about all the extended.
Just man and woman story.
Husband and wife.
Since I'm not working,
yes,
I'm not gonna lie, I've seen where my marriage has I know I can now hear my husband. So it's not just the children. Because sometimes what husband talk about we're not hearing as women, and we think that they're not listening to us and we're not listening to them. So I see where I'm still. So it has improved even in my marriage. It has improved my marriage because I'm home. I'm at home. I cook more. I'm one of those women who I love what do you call it? Clayton? Like I go to a restaurant.
I cook as well.
No, Clayton cooks as well. He cooks as well. But if you go to a fancy restaurant, I'll see a particular menu. I'll go home and try it, and I'll set the table and do them fancy dancy things. I love those things. So I have the opportunity because I'm artistic.
Yes.
So I know I have the opportunity to give to my home.
You don't just cook some food, you make a meal.
I make a meal and I pretty it up. Sometimes clients say, Lord, Michelle, I pretty it up too much. I mean, yeah, but I'm just hungry, we need to eat. But the point I'm trying to make, though, is that just be still in your relationship is a powerful thing. And sometimes as women, yes, we want to go out there to make the money. Yes, I understand that. But because I got the opportunity to be home, I think I can see things more. So like if Clayton say, oh, Michelle, I'm fine, I can see it. No, you're not fine. Because normally, because I'm rushing, if Clayton say I'm fine, okay, you find me fine, okay, we're good, we're going about our business. But like, no, I can say, okay, no, I don't think Clayton is okay. I can actually see it. I can actually feel
lean
it.
into your female intuition.
Yes, I can feel it. I can feel when the children not okay. I can feel when my stepson say, Auntie, I'm fine. I say, no, something is wrong. So I know skewing to the relationship. Because I'm there, I can see.
You can be more connected.
Yeah, I can
and less
be
distracted.
more connected to my husband and less distracted.
I love how you phrased it, and you keep going back to it in that you have this opportunity. Many women see submission or staying at home as a burden and something they have to give great thought to because, hey, the man is going to be in control, dominant, all of these things. But you see it as an opportunity, a gift that you are given.
Yes, it is.
So I'm going to lean over to you, sir. So she's talked about the relationship. She is more inclined to hear you, see you, connect with you emotionally. She wants to cook more. She wants to create that atmosphere. How are you receiving that?
I think her presence at home is I welcome it. Just because I know that, okay, if she's at home, I'm on the road, I could call and say, hey, can you look about something for me, or can you do this for me, can you get this documentation for me, can you, so I can rely on her more because she's present at home. Also, we generally go out every time that I'm available. Most of the time I'm available on a Friday night. So I know that, okay, we'll go out on a Friday night to on a dinner date with another couple, or during the week we'll go out because then she doesn't have to work the next day. So there's a lot of benefits, and the relationship has improved drastically. It has really improved
exponentially
since she has been working from home. One of the things I did not want to submit to is finances. And I want to touch that because I want to touch it because it has caused a lot of rift in a lot of disagreements, a lot of tension. And I've recently submitted to say, you know what, okay, we're going to let my salary take care of the bills, and this money that's coming from somewhere else goes to saving. And I was like, okay. So the first month I was like, all right then, we have some money in savings, let's go and do that. And she's like, no. And I got really upset because I said to myself, I don't understand. But then after getting over that and passing that hurdle, I was like, I went back to her and I said, I see what you're saying.
Yes.
I am starting to see the account grow. And this was the other day we had this conversation. I said, I might not always like the fact that I need cash and I can't get it, but I respect what the other mission is, right? So we are starting to see
the family wealth grow.
As a result of me submitting
to the mission.
To the mission. As it relates to finances, because Michelle is better at finances than I am. She's better at money. I can make money. I know how to make money. Making money is not a problem for me. Managing the money now is an issue. So I have accepted that, okay, Michelle can manage the money, I can make it.
Yes.
So I'm going to make the money, and then I'll bring it home and I'll put it on the table and say, okay, that was for that job, that was for that job. So whether she used that money and put it in the bank or she used that money towards the household, It's neither here nor there.
Once it gets in the house,
once it gets in
it's
the house,
under her domain.
and she knows that we're smooth sailing for the month, then I'm good. You know, so if I go out and I make $10, I'm like, okay, Michelle, we made $10. I take $2 for myself. I pay the guys $3. So $5 is left. So
Manage it.
And I just want to touch something too. At first, my husband, like he said earlier, he was a little bit hesitant. You know, it's not his strong point. But I think as women, we control the narrative in our household, and we don't understand the power.
Careful.
No, we don't. Let me phrase that. We don't understand the power that we have as women. Because when my husband gives me $10, that $10 is like $1 million to me. Thank you, baby. I really appreciate it, because I understand that there's a money. He has an issue with the money thing, so I have to also help my husband to realize that I don't love you for your money, baby. I love you for who you are. You are wonderful.
I just wanted to speak about a story.
Lovely, beautiful man.
When Michelle and I were getting married, I always tell people this story. When Michelle and I were getting married, she needed some money, maybe like $60,000 or something like that in
Jamaican dollars
to pay for an item. So I can't remember the figure. So I sent her $100,000, and I said, pay for the item for the wedding. And the rest of money, you just do what you want to do. It's yours to, you know. When I got to Jamaica in preparation for the wedding, Michelle, I remember clearly, Michelle called me in the room and she says, Clayton, I spent $68,000 for the item. And
these are the receipts.
These are the receipts. This is what I have left. I did this, I did that. And I said, you don't have to show it to me. And then she said, okay, I had a couple $1,000s left over, went to visit one of your relatives, and she needed her shoes, so I just gave her the money for the shoes. And I think every time I look back at that, she's correct. She's not with me for money, right? She genuinely loves me. But it also shows me her character as a woman.
Sounds like Proverbs 31 talking, where she's managing those money.
Precisely. And as women...
One second, Michelle. Sorry, and as she's doing that, she is demonstrating that respect to you, that says, hey, you are head of household. I'm accountable to you. So I'm letting you know that, hey, I didn't go and squander it and do all of these other things with it, because I want you to make sure that you know that your heart is well placed in this woman.
And that behavior has continued into today, 14 years later, where if I give her, even at the end of the month, I said, Michelle, okay, this is what we can. This is the money that we have to spend for the month. And she will still break it down to me. Okay, $25 for gas, boom, boom, boom. She make a note of it. So, for example, you know what I mean? So she does very well with managing the money. So, you know.
And he does very well in making it.
There you go. And so when we execute our roles
together, we have to work together. And then, don't let the world tell us that, okay, you have to be this, you have to be this, you have to be aggressive. No. Walk in your feminine aura, walk in your feminine light, and you'll see the masculinity of your man shining. And we don't talk much about that as women, because we want to follow the narrative of the world. But no, I'm not doing that anymore. Ladies, we have power, and we need to walk in our feminine energy, and don't let, as I would say, Babylon tell us that, oh no, you have to be this or you have to be that. Be the woman God has called you to be, and you will see your man shining.
My producer Mikey, I've been watching him and looking up, and he's just been smiling ear to ear every time you talk, right? And what that speaks to, I think it's in Proverbs 31. There's an interesting text. It's 27 where it says that the husband is sitting in the gates and he's known in the gates. And for me, what it speaks to is he's known in the gates by the elders. And what it speaks to is when a woman leans in her femininity.
Yes.
That brings pride to the husband.
Yes.
Not just in the joy of seeing her, but when other men look at her, they look at her as a woman to be respected.
Yes.
And you know what happens as a result of that? That man is respected even more.
Yes.
True.
I just want to touch on this point. Before my husband started a business, you don't mind me sharing this?
No, right.
My husband is not one of those handyman, But when my husband does something, the Holy Spirit said to me, Michelle, tell him that it's done beautifully.
Wow.
So my husband will paint something, but I'm an artist. So when he does that, I don't. But is that the Holy Spirit said to me, Michelle, tell your husband that he did a phenomenal job. And then people would say, but you're lying to him. And I'm like, I'm gonna test God on this, and I'm gonna try this. And I said, boy, Clayton, you do such a wonderful job. Boy, the painting is beautiful. Then next week I see my husband painting the eaves. I said, oh my God, Clayton, the eaves look lovely. I know my husband owns a painting company.
Wow.
Women, we need to walk in the power and the authority that God has gifted us with. Our femininity, don't take it lightly. And why do you think the world is telling us that, okay, we need to be masculine? They have an agenda. They know why. Because when we walk in our femininity, our husband and our mate, our male counterpart, they're going to walk in their masculinity. And we have what? We're going to keep the family together. They don't want that. That's why they're pointing our eyes away from the power that we have as women. And they're skewing it and they're making it a dirty thing. But originality, the original essence of femininity, was
Yes.
the woman be able to do what she wants to do.
Yes.
And I want to be home with my family.
Yes.
I want to do this at this time. Probably 10 years from now, 5 years from now, I go back in the world of work. But right now, God has called me to be there for my family. And I'm going to do it with confidence. I'm sorry.
And as you're phrasing it, as you're framing it, you're saying feminine power. And it's important to underscore
and the
that
feminine
because
power.
sometimes women, we believe that, hey, the feminine power is to tell the man how he's doing
Yes,
wrong
and
how
tear
he
him
can
down.
fix it
No.
and tear it down. And what you recognize in your feminine power is by lifting him up.
And listen, in lifting him up, I'm lifted. You get what I'm saying?
Say it again. Can we get that to the...
In lifting up my man, I'm lifted.
Wow. So when you're tearing down your man, you're tearing down the whole
Myself
family.
and my family.
You hear my producer Mikey G?
Yes. Yes.
There's this idea that I've been tossing around in my head called wife school. And Michelle, you need to teach some of these young ladies.
Yes.
You need to teach them how to wield that feminine power,
Yes,
because
yes.
it is a real power, you know.
It is
Women
a real
don't
power.
understand
It's a
that.
lovely power
But
too.
the challenge with that, you know, it is a real power, but the challenge is women and men tend to base their lives on the celebrities. They're doing this, they're doing that, they're doing that, they're doing this. For example, I'll give you an example.
Cardi B and Beyonce telling them foolishness.
The richest man, Warren Buffett,
Yes.
has a Buick that he bought brand new. I think it was 19.
Way back when.
And he still drives it today. He still lives in the same house. But he's worth billions, right? So a lot of people don't understand that. Even the only country I know of that the owners of their properties, like the Lamborghinis, the big houses, is Nigeria and Dubai. Everything else is borrowed
Yes.
or rented. So the world is seeing a facade. And to them, it's a story. It's a story. And they buy into that story. And as a result of buying into that story, they end up losing it all.
We've bought into the story that woman, you need to go out and have your independence and do what you need to do so that you can have your own money and wield your own power. And we're seeing it play out in our families, where our families are falling apart. We're seeing it in our outcomes for our children, and realize that more of them are heading into prisons, more of them are having mental health issues, more of them are dropping out of school and doing a host of these things. Right? We're seeing them stressed out. And all of these things are happening, yet we still jump on this train and running down the road. You have said, you know what, let me hop off this train. Let me hop off this hamster wheel.
Let me
And
try it.
Let me try it.
Yeah, let me just
Let me
try
to
to see.
go back to
yeah.
this thing that God said. And you're seeing
The benefits. I'm
the
reaping
benefits,
the benefits.
not generations later, not years later, right away. You said that you're able to see your children, see your husband, hear them. And many women in the workplace still try to connect to this intuition and go, I know that you're cheating, or no, and using that intuition in their heads to give voice to fear. Instead, you're using the intuition in your head to go, how do I connect so that I can support and lift up my family, lift up my children, elevate them so that they can live in a better space, to reduce the fight? Because the world is a challenging place, you know.
It is.
Yes. Even more so today than 10 years ago.
More so today than 10 years ago. And last week we talked about, and it's a difficult place for men, because men don't often get seen.
Because I think
Or
the world
heard,
has now come to a point where they're trying to emasculate men.
Yes. Right?
Right? And for example, I am a man's man.
Yes.
You know, I am not. Certain things I don't allow my kids to watch. Certain things I don't allow them to do. I'll huff and I'll puff, but I'm gentle as well. But the huffing and puffing comes when it's needed.
Yes.
So it's not because you're a man doesn't mean that you don't have a gentle side. Because if you're a husband, you have to have a gentle
Yes.
side for your wife.
Your wife needs
Also
the
for your
protection.
children.
So they need to know that you can protect her from all harm and danger, but she also needs
She can be
safety.
loved. You can love her.
There you go. She needs to feel safe in those same arms
Yeah.
that will do damage to the man out on the street. She needs to feel safe
Exactly.
in them. They're
You
warm
You
for
said
her.
it exactly right.
Beautiful, beautiful. And we hear us talking about this happening and playing out in your lives, and you being able to see your husband, see your children, and help them. And you're seeing it in their successes, and we're also seeing it in your success as you're doing new businesses and doing these things. And you're also seeing it in yourself in that, hey, I'm also self-actualizing. I'm really rather than fighting children, I can lean into my passion, my art, where I can give more of myself to the world. And where other mothers and parents are stressed, and you go, bring us your children.
Bring them, come, man.
Bring them,
Don't
come.
worry.
Man. I have enough love because our household is designed according to God. We have enough love to share.
Yeah.
Mikey G, my producer, was saying something to me. What are you saying? What are you saying, Mikey? We want a break? Go ahead, man. Talk to them. Talk to the people.
No, man, I was just saying.
Full circle, because because I'm enjoying listening to the two of you talk, listening to how you share, listening to how you tried this thing, right? Even though it was challenging,
Yes.
even though everything in the world's narrative told you that's a mistake, even though there might have been people in your circle telling you, no, don't do that,
And
right?
mind you, we're not rich.
I-
I just want to throw that in there.
I'm coming back to it, and,
Okay.
and you have to take on this thing with now going 2 salary to 1 salary in the Cayman Islands, one of the most expensive places in the
on
world.
earth.
And then after doing that, being able to finally see the world, see your children flourish,
Yeah.
and see each other. And I want to zero in on that person, because I know even under the best conditions, even in the Garden of Eden, Adam and Eve still had challenges. So what are some of the challenges that you have to work through, and then how do you support each other, work with each other through those challenges?
Okay, I think sometimes when I ask my husband, are you okay? I can see it on his face that he's not. And I know he worries about finances.
Yes.
So as the woman too, I have to be conscious of that and cognizant of the fact that, okay, if my husband brings home $10, I have to appreciate that $10. How do I make that $10 stretch? If my husband takes home $200, how do I make that $200 stretch? And I've learned to be contented with a little, and I've learned to be contented with a lot.
And creative.
And creative. So for example, if I go to purchase something, I'm not going to purchase like a $100 dress. But you know what I realize? I can wear a $1 dress or a $3 dress, and it
Look
look
like
just
$1
as
million
good as
bucks.
Versace. So we have to learn as women to how can I be contented
Creative.
and creative with a little, and how can I be contented and creative with a lot. So it takes, so sometimes I seize worry, and I have to also cushion that worry with, okay, baby, I got you.
Yes.
And okay, this is what we're gonna cook today. Okay, you didn't buy this. Okay, I'll let it work. So I have to be creative. Like I said before, today I'll do fried chicken. Tomorrow I'll cut up that fried chicken and do Alfredo fettuccine. So we have to be creative and understand too that. And I grew up with brothers. I think that's how to help me too. I grew up with a lot of brothers. So when your husband, ladies out there, I'm speaking to you. If your husband carry $100, let the man $100 feel like it's $1 million. Because I know people who have $1 million and they don't have a family to give $1 to. So I'm saying that to say that whatever he brings home,
Yes.
show him that you can make it into $1 million.
And in doing that, I'm hearing in what you're saying, in doing that, when he sees you put on that dress and look like $1 million, when he sees you get creative, then he doesn't have to worry about the $1 and feel
Feel
like
less of a man.
shortchanged.
Like, you know, a man come home and
Yes.
get, we giving that $10. No, never.
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 Whether it's $1 million or just one.
Yes. So even if he gives me $1, I'm gonna thank you, baby.
Met with
And then
appreciation.
yes, and I say, you know, Clayton, $1 finish now. I'm not going to say we're giving this and throw it back at him. No, because he goes out there, he works hard. So what's my take on it?
You appreciate him.
I
doing his
appreciate
role.
you, because you know what's gonna happen next? He's gonna bring $2 million come.
There we go. And you've seen it from the one salary.
And
to
I've
the new
seen it
business,
from the one side to the new
trips
business, and I'm
Europe.
gonna say, okay, baby, let's just not do it, because my husband will get passionate. But Michelle, I want to give you what I want. I say, yes, baby, I know you want to give me this, but I don't want it today. So let's just do it next week.
Because you're in it for the long haul.
Yeah, because we need it for the long haul. And the reality is, just like when we go to college, I have to sit up nights, because think about it. We work on other things out there. Why
Yes.
can't I not work on my relationship?
Beautiful.
Why can't I work on being kind to my family? Why can't I work on being nice to people? I have to work at it because people is my passion. So I have to work at being kind. I have to work at being nice. I have to work at being considerate. Because there are days when I want to cuss and carry on too. But how do I pause? I say, okay, Clayton is working hard. Let me just, I know the $10 can't stretch, but let me find creative ways to stretch
Yes.
it. Instead of to argue and bicker and argue, no. Because I know who I am as a woman. Because I'm walking in my femininity and it pushes my husband to be better, to do better. Do you get what
Walk
I'm
in
saying?
his masculinity.
And to walk in his
Because
masculinity.
he knows he's coming home to peace.
He knows he's coming home to peace. And yes, there are times where we argue and want to avoid me.
Yeah, but my take on
Yes.
take on it is that if somebody says to me that they have a relationship that is smooth sailing, something is wrong with that relationship.
It's not real. You need to
Yeah,
have some
you
chafing.
need a little rockiness every now and again.
Because even when you go to the gym, you have to have that resistance. That
In order
you
to build the
grow together.
muscles.
Yeah.
Muscles
and
grow.
just talking to
Yes.
the ladies out there, go on YouTube. Find ways. You know, some you might say I can't cook or I can't do this or I can't. Listen, you have videos can tell you, listen, walk you through the process. How to make that dish or make that meal. And when your husband comes, nothing is wrong with sharing it out and put it on the plate and you make some nice juice and some nice food and the man greet the nice food and the nice juice and him come, how was your day, baby? And rub him head.
Wow.
You don't
Big
know the
smile
power that
from
you
Mikey
have.
again. Clayton, talk me through your challenges and how you're navigating them.
I think for me is she has
And then, as you're answering that one, the other question I'm going to ask you is, what do you need from each? What would you say at this point you need from each other? But let's stay with this one for a minute.
okay. Sorry, what was the question again?
What are some of the challenges that you have, and how do you navigate them? How do you support each
With
other
her?
through that? Yes.
With the mission in general, sorry.
But I
For me.
think some of the challenge I have with her is like, sometimes I want to do something for her nice.
Yes.
And she says, no, it's okay. And I think sometimes it rubs me the wrong way because I understand
Yes.
where she's coming from,
Yes.
but I also want her to. My love language is gifting, right?
Mm.
So
you hearing that?
I want to give her things to
Yes.
let her see that I appreciate her. And
Because
then
you are
there's-
appreciating her.
Yeah, and then there's some other little stuff that she
Come on, say it,
does.
man. Say it, man.
Like
What I've enjoyed about her,
she-
what I've enjoyed about listening to her is that she's open to listening. So here I'm giving you the opportunity to just say it clearly. Say
No,
it
she
plainly.
knows. She has an issue with phone. She doesn't answer phone. All of her friends say the same thing. So sometimes I'm on the road and I need to get so all of Michelle's friends have my number.
Yes.
Because if they can't get her, they call me. And that's just the reality.
I'm going
She's
to work
al-
on it.
She's often. If Michelle and I are going out together and I get to the location
Yes.
and our close friends look at us, they just smile. Because I'm going to be late and they know why I'm late. 9 out of 10 times.
9 out of 10
But
times.
I find that when you surround yourself with a certain type of people as well, like the friends that we surround ourselves with, understand us.
Yes.
And we understand them. So it kind of works together. What else I can talk about? That?
Real issue, man.
But
Talk about real
but
things.
but what the
And I say that because many times as men, the challenge that presents itself is that for some reason in 2023, we found ourselves more as a peacemaker. And so we don't necessarily, as Michelle said earlier, she can see you. We don't necessarily say the things that we really need because we're afraid that they might upset the apple cart or
Hurt
they
their
might
feelings.
hurt their feelings because we do know that they're emotional. But we want to be able to have that real conversation.
Yes.
Okay,
because-
so one of the things I look at, sorry
Yes.
to cut you, one of the things I weigh
Yes.
every time I get to that space where I'm upset about something that she does that I don't like is her good qualities outweighs her bad. So I always say, okay, I'll get upset and I'll leave. And then if I'm driving, I'm like, man, trust me, it's a good thing she's a good woman. So I'm telling you. So
I know.
I have a lot of those conversations with myself.
And I'm hearing it, and I know that you're already doing the accounting. And so what I'm doing here now is to say, hey, we're not talking about getting upset. We talk, because
Oh, we
sometimes
can make it
those,
better.
That's right. Those things that rub us the wrong way, that get upset. When we're not upset, we can express them in a way that allows Michelle to hear you and go, oh, so that's how you want me to love you, and not that's what made you mad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I think we communicate.
Because if you
a lot
notice
better.
right away when you say the phone, she was, yeah, man, I'll work on it.
Yeah. So she's been saying that for years. But
don't know.
again,
I'm
like I
just
said,
terrible.
but anyway,
I don't
I think
know.
one of the things that has helped us,
Yes.
we've been communicating a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
I think we have been a little bit more expressive.
Mm.
Like she would say what's on her mind, and likewise. Again, a lot of things I never used to say to spare her feelings, and I'm starting to be more forthcoming with those things now. So I think that is also helping.
Mm-hmm.
She has often asked, okay, what do you want? What do you need from me, sort of things. And I've been telling her,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So I see where our relationship is growing. Even though we've been married for 14 years, our relationship is constantly growing, right?
Yes.
So I think now we're communicating a bit more, it is growing. And I think the key to the continuous growth is going to be the continuous communication.
But one of the things that I try to balance that against is that we all think that we're communicating. One of the what I've taken away from what you said is that this not having to worry about the job and the pace and the wake up and be tired and all of those things has given
Sort
you
of
the
helped
opportunity
me. Yes, it has.
to have a longer fuse, to have a little bit more openness.
Yes.
And so that gives him now the space to really be himself
Receive,
and
yeah.
to speak some things that might have been under the carpet before, and he might have been dissatisfied, but now he can say them and you can receive them in a way that says, hey, okay, I hear you and I want to love
Yeah,
you.
not from a place of judgment, but from a place of, okay, this is how I'm feeling, Michelle. How can you, work this out so I can get my needs being met?
Yes.
And, things like that. Yeah.
And so I hear you saying that that's working. So is there anything that you haven't touched on yet that you haven't taken the chance to say to her that you need? 'Cause remember
like
when
I
it's-
said, she'll tell you, I'm very vocal. I express myself and move on. If I hurt your feelings, then so be it. So I think she understands that about me. I'm raw, I come
Yes.
raw, so I don't really beat around the bush when it comes to certain things. But I think, I don't really think there's anything else.
Okay, so she's
But
able to
but can
go
I?
on.
I
Yes,
don't want
yes,
to.
please.
I don't want to. Because I hear what he's saying, and sometimes I assume I want to rebut, but I don't want to rebut, but just to understand where I'm coming from. Like my husband will buy me nice things,
Yes.
and I say to him, "Okay, baby, based on the budget, yes, that is beautiful, but not today." But I'm hearing him saying that when I do that, it hurts him. But I just want you to understand, I'm coming from a place of care and not from a place of rejecting your gift. Because I know my husband, he will buy me, listen, but yeah, let's keep it within the budget. You know what I mean?
So what I'm hearing the balance on is he appreciates you and wants
Yes.
to give you all the
And
finer
that is
things
love
like a
language,
queen, and
yes.
that is his love language
Yes.
to say, hey, we don't have enough money to tell you how much I love
Yeah, and I
you.
think when I say it, it's as if I'm rejecting the
Yes.
gift, and I don't want to reject the gift. You know what I mean?
So what can you do instead?
Um,
How do you manage that?
Get
How
a
do you-
cheaper gift. But my husband has expensive taste. But we could do that too. You know what I mean?
So I'm hearing you say that, and I'm trying to translate and work through it. I'm hearing you say that your husband has expensive taste.
Yes.
But what I'm hearing him say is that he has great appreciation for you.
Precisely. So how do I?
I appreciate that.
Yes.
So
because
I'll
Yes.
give you an example. We're talking about greater taste. A few years ago, right? So Michelle has, like I said, she doesn't wear a lot of jewelry. She wears
Yes.
a lot of costume jewelry because she's natural and. So a few years ago, I said, you know what? I got a good Christmas bonus. I'm going to buy her some diamond earrings. Boss man, I went out and I bought the diamond, really nice, expensive diamond earrings. Because I appreciate my
Yes.
wife, right?
Oh, bless the Lord.
Wrap it up, gave it to her Christmas baby. Gave it to her, she said, oh, thank you. She wore it once. She wore it once. 6 months down the road, I asked her where they are. She don't have no clue where they are.
I didn't realize there were diamonds here.
Are you now just learning now that they're diamonds?
Because I always tell him, Clayton, don't buy anything too expensive, please. Just, keep it at a minimum, you know what I mean? So I didn't realize it was diamonds. I think I lost them though.
And as we talk about this, it's good to understand what we're saying to each other so that we're communicating in a way that reinforces support and enhances each other. And I'm hearing you saying, hey, I'm natural, I'm these things, I don't get caught up in the flurry, not because I don't think that I'm the greatest thing in the
No,
world.
I get caught up in the flurry, but probably once or twice per year, but not regularly. You know what I mean?
Yes, because
Yes.
you understood that can negatively impact our family finances, and what you're looking for right now is the family stability, right? And the family stability. So as you're going out there and creating, adding new wealth, what we want to do is to stack it so we can have more trips, so we can have more
Yes.
family
And
moments,
my
have
husband
more of
works
those
hard,
things.
so I want to know that, okay, when we're going on vacation, we can relax.
Yes.
You don't have to be worried.
And I'm hearing you saying in the middle of that guess what? While diamond earrings, and you didn't know they were diamonds at the time, but while diamond rings that I can put on are wonderful,
Yes.
but that does not necessarily speak to the family, right? You want us to enjoy and create those
Yes.
memories together.
Yes.
And that, so even if we spend the same money on traveling to Europe, that's fine. It's not necessarily the money itself, it is
Yes,
creating that.
so we're going to save up to the vacation and
Yes.
then we just splurge.
Enjoy it together.
Yes.
And you can benefit and enjoy it as well, right?
Yes.
So we're hearing each other through that and appreciating that even though we speak different languages, we're both on the same mission.
Yes.
Right.
And that's the circle that we've come to, understanding what's the mission that we're on, understanding what our role in
And
the mission
submitting
is,
to the mission.
and submitting to the mission, because there's a bunch of different calls being calling you from left and right, telling you, hey, deviate, hey, turn right, hey, stop here, go here. And these things can be very
Yeah.
distracting. Sometimes those distractions can come from close by. Your mother-in-law, your stepmother, your even sometimes your children. Yeah, man, buy the latest game. But you've been able to teach them, and so they're on the same mission. And so it sounds like the whole family is rowing in one direction, all on the same mission. And this all comes from husband and
Submission.
wife submitting to the mission, wife being fully into her femininity, husband jumping into his and saying, come, let's drive. And together we just drive.
Yeah.
Anything that you want to add to the men who are listening, and the women, the final message that you want to leave with the women who are listening?
You want to go first? To the men out there, I just want to say that.
And I want it twofold. Best relationship advice,
Okay.
and then best advice for your own masculinity and your own femininity.
Okay, so the advice I can give to men out there is that when you're in a relationship, is there's never going to be, it's not always going to be smooth, but you're in that relationship for a reason, and you need to. A lot of times we forget why we're in certain situations, and what I tend to do, I can speak for myself, is whenever I hit a pothole with my relationship, I always remember that the good that the relationship produces outweighs the bad. And like a job, everything takes work. So if you don't work on your relationship, you basically get out of your relationship what you put in it. And let me just emphasize the fact that it's not always going to be easy. There's a lot of distractions out there. There's a lot of women out there who are prettier than your woman. There's a lot of men out there who are prettier than your men. But you have to stay focused. One of the things that we learned through a leadership program I did in church a few years ago is called bouncing the eyes. So as men, we will see other attractive women like, wow, but move on. And women do the same thing. They'll see an attractive man and they're like, wow, but they move on. So we need to learn to start bouncing our eyes. It's not going to be easy. And in some instances, I've even said to my wife, Michelle, that girl look nice, man. And I've moved on. You get what I'm saying? So it's not like I'm keeping it to myself. I'm not keeping it to myself, which means that I have released it.
So you don't need to hide it.
I don't need to hide it. And she knows that if I see somebody attractive, I'm going to either look or I'm going to say that girl is attractive. But I think she's confident enough in her relationship to know that that is where it stops.
Got you.
What was the other section?
Best relationship advice, which is what you just answered, and then best advice for men leaning into their masculinity, those responsibilities that were difficult to begin with, but as you're leaning into them, you're seeing the rewards.
Yes. Men, my advice to you would be spend that extra 5 minutes. Spend that extra 5 minutes with your child. A lot of us, some of us might not get the opportunity to do it, but make the effort. 5 minutes will make a difference in your child life. Just calling to say I love you, or if you come home in the evenings, you spend 2 minutes saying how was your day, or even going upstairs at night and say, or downstairs and said, kids, have a wonderful night. It makes a difference in your children's life. So my thing would be time. Just spend the time.
Spend the time.
You will see the reward.
Awesome. Michelle?
Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not to your own understanding, but in all your ways acknowledge him and he shall direct your path. And ladies, just be still and know that, yes, when the world tells us certain things, go back to God, go back to the source and understand that I can walk in my femininity because God has made me female for a reason and for a purpose. And I can walk in that and I'll see miracles happen. And trust in God. Sometimes, the situation might seem rough and it might seem hard, but I'm encouraging ladies out there that just trust in God. You'll never know where God will take you. Trust in him.
And as you both spoke, particularly as you spoke, Clayton, and you talked about seeing other women and seeing those things happen. And you said it, hey, sometimes you will see women out there who are more beautiful than your wife, and you'll be able to share that with her honestly and openly. And as she does her job, because one of the things that happens is make choice copying. As women see her respect you, it actually draws more women to you.
Yes, that is true. That is true.
And as she does her work in the background and your finances increase, that attracts more women to you. How do you help her to be at peace, understanding that is happening?
Reassurance. Yes, reassurance.
And just know who you are as a woman too, because everything is not just physical appearance. Because I know Miss World have issues with her in her relationship, so it's not just about the physical beauty, but just your femininity, your aura, who you are as a woman. You can know. You know what I mean? So there's more to a woman than her physicality, than just how she looks. But your aura, so the man knows what he's coming home to. Do you get what I'm
But
saying?
not only that, you also look at the
I'm just
fact that
joking.
you also look at the fact of when you get to a certain age, you look
Yes.
at stuff like, is 30 minutes of your time worth losing your relationship? Is spending 20 minutes intimately with somebody else worth losing everything that you have built? You see what I'm saying? So you look at those things and you weigh them, and you said, it's not worth it. But the bounce in the eyes doesn't allow you to even get to that far.
Because you understand.
Because you've
that-
already appreciated
Yes.
what's in front of you, but you also know what is at home.
And that at home is
And just
not.
having other men too that godly men as example, or godly women, because I think my friend, she will encourage me to Michelle, stay on the path. Yes, it's rough. So having the community, just the community. We have a thing at our church. I go to First Assembly of God, and we have a thing called Life Group.
Yes.
And we meet every Thursday sometime for various groups, and meet Monday to Sunday. But it's just to have people that you can, accountability, people in your space, like-minded people in your
Yes.
space. I think it helps to keep us grounded too.
And being able to just have that conversation with your men friend. Boy, I see a really nice looking girl today. And I was like, yeah, man, I saw one the other day too. But then you move on. You get it out of your system. Because that's what it's about, getting it
Yes.
out of your system. Once you get it out of your system. Because at the end of the day, men will talk, women will talk.
And your
They'll
eyes
have
will be
conversation.
attracted. That's just how.
That's just how human beings are made up, right? But for us, especially the group of men that I hang out with, that I call my close friends, we respect our women, and we know what we have. So I have a very small circle of close friends. I have a lot of friends, but I have a very small circle of close.
Ones that will influence you.
So
who help
yeah.
you to be on the mission.
Yeah, so one of the things I do is in that small circle, I try to be the weakest. Because if I'm the strongest, then I have nothing to grow from. So if I'm in the middle or if I'm in the weakness, I can grow. But if I'm at the top of the pillar, where
Then
am I
there's
going
nowhere to go
There's
but
nowhere
down.
to go but
Got
down.
you. So I hear both of you reinforcing that idea of you having some men who help you and support you on that
and
mission,
some women
right?
who-
Because there are going to be people who are going to draw you away, and you have women who understand the mission and help you. Because we all get weak from time to time.
Yes.
So having people who can give you that support,
Yeah.
I'm here with you, that helps you to work it through. And that's such a wonderful thing. That's such a brilliant thing, and I love that for both of you. And you can see that as you're on this path, that is helping you and moving you, keeping you on the path as you move forward together. It has been a wonderful evening, a wonderful conversation. I've enjoyed both of you being able to share your love and share your passion, share your path. Now I'm going to give you an opportunity to share how other persons can connect with you. And you talked about your personal business and you talked about your artwork. So if you want to tell people where they can reach out and connect with you and support you, here's an opportunity.
Okay, so I have a company called M3
Uh-huh.
Painting and Maintenance. We do renovations, we do murals. Michelle manages the mural part of it. We power wash houses, we power wash roofs. I'm moving into property management. So if anybody wants to get in touch with me, the number is 516-3989, or you could reach me, you could email me at m3painting1345@gmail.com.
Awesome. Let them know. Let them know again.
Okay.
It's
Let's
M3
repeat
Paint.
the number and the
Oh,
email.
so the number is 516-3989. Email address is m3painting1345@gmail.com. You
Awesome.
can get in touch with me for all your maintenance and painting needs.
And Christmas is coming around.
And Christmas
you
is
have to
coming,
power
so
wash.
yes, Christmas is coming.
All right, Michelle.
Okay,
you
the
wanna
name of
add
my
anything?
business is Art and Soul. I do sip and paint with the adults and paint and play with the children. And I also use Clayton's number.
That's right.
Is that okay?
That's absolutely. Get to her
516.
through her husband.
516-3989. And you can also use the same email, m3painting1345
At Gmail.
@gmail.com.
You said it and it stuck out in my head. Paint and play.
Paint and play, yes. I do paint and play with the children.
Yes.
And sip and paint with the adults.
Tell us a little bit more about that. And
Okay,
connecting it to what you said earlier, send your children to your house. So
perfect. So sometimes they'll send my children with the art, with the painting. We paint on canvas, we'll make things. And I generally use acrylic paints, and they're well protected. I have gloves and overalls, so they won't paint up the place, and the children enjoy it
And
so
they have
much.
a huge workspace.
So I have a
within the
huge
house.
workspace
So as
sometimes.
we're thinking about, or the holiday season
Yes.
coming along, more
Yes.
children are going to
Do
be
for
home and you're looking for
parties,
something that you
yes.
want them to do. If you want you to come out for a party, you can
Or I will go to them. I will
okay.
go to them.
All right. And just repeat the number again so persons can know for.
It's 1345-516-3989. You can reach us for any of the needs that we mentioned earlier via that number.
And I guess if someone just wants to have a conversation with you about how you are on that path of marriage, because you said you're into
Yes.
counseling, I
Yes.
mean, they can reach out to you as well and just
That's correct.
get some support.
That's correct.
Michelle, Clayton, it has truly been a joy. I know Mikey has enjoyed it. I know our listeners have enjoyed just being able to participate, being able to just sit and bask in the radiance of your love, to be able to be on that path with you as you share the challenges, but as you share the rewards and the benefits. So if you're at home and you're thinking about getting on the path, I mean, they're not unicorns. They're people just like you and me. So you can do it too. We've been talking about it. And here we have it in front of you, live and in living color, people making the choice to get off the rat race, get off the hamster wheel, and to get into the design that God has made for our lives. This is the
Amen.
Wrecking Trade. This has been a wonderful conversation with Michelle and Clayton. I'm Robert Lynch. I say to you, enjoy. Continue being on the path. Continue walking in the design that God has given you, especially for us as men, for responsibility, accountability, and to walk in our masculinity. Join us next week for another wonderful conversation. Peace.
Welcome to The Wrecking Trade, the radio show that
Thank you
provides a
for
platform
having
for
us.
a deeper understanding of issues affecting men in the Cayman Islands. Join us as we explore the low enrollment of men and boys in college classrooms, the absence of men in the church, and the absence of fathers in the home. Join the conversation as we help men find their place in the modern world through engaging interviews with experts and members of the community. We provide a clear picture of what healthy masculinity looks like as an example for boys and girls. Our mission is to provide a voice for men, to help them navigate the challenges that they face and provide hope for a brighter future. So tune in and join the conversation on The